So we're now going through the Goulet de Brest, this sort of narrow channel in front of us, and all along this coastline it's rather nice and a little bit wild. You can see lots of fortifications. I think some of them are really old, perhaps Napoleonic, and some are much more recent bunker-style concrete things. But it's interesting nonetheless. Unfortunately, there is not enough wind now because the wind is behind us. We're going faster than the wind, so we've had to furl our sail in, which is one of the reasons why we didn't bother putting the main up, because we knew it wouldn't be much point. Interesting to see marks on both sides. Over by the yacht there, another fortification, an important area for navigation and getting in via the sea. So it was very well defended. You can see also that there's a marker in the middle there. There's a rock in the middle of the Goulet de Brest, and that red and black marker is marking the rock. So we clearly don't want to be anywhere near that. On the bow you can see what can only be described as a massive tanker coming through the Goulet de Brest too. Luckily there are two sides of the channel, as I mentioned the rock earlier. I think he's heading up on the north side of the channel, and we're on the south side. But I do not want to get too close to him. He's massive. So you can see this tanker now. He's coming by. He's called Ultra Tiger. Look how big this thing is. We're tiny. I changed my mind. I don't think he's taking the North Channel. I think he's sharing the one with us. Look at that. Massive. Can't even get the full thing in the lens. Nearly, I think. I think maybe it has, but oof, is he big. I think we might get a bit of a bow wave, but he is going really slowly, thankfully. And now he's just sort of coming towards our... He's going after the beam now. And there he goes. Huge. Alan is busy navigating as close to shore as possible, making sure we don't hit any rocks. And I can hear his engines thrumming. I can feel it going through the boat. I don't know if you can see it, but there's a pilot boat just at the stern of the ship. Alan said going through there he was 751 feet. He was doing 7.1 knots. We were doing 8.9, I think. It's because we've got the flow of current belting through here. Normally 6 knots is our cruising speed. So we've got a lot of current underneath us. Doesn't bother him, but we wouldn't want to go in the other direction. We'd get stuck. Our final destination in the end is Moulin Blanc Marina near Brest. It's a lovely big marina. We did have a look in an anchorage, but when we got there, the wind had swung round a bit and it just, I don't know, it just didn't feel right. We didn't feel happy with it. So we decided to head up here instead. We're thinking that the boat hasn't been lifted out this season either, so we might just investigate how much a lift and hold might be so we can do a little bit of work underneath. All right, we've gone alongside the slip wall in Brest. The skipper, as you can see, is very nervous and chewing his lip, mopping his brow from the sweat from what we're doing. We have decided to dry out on the wall. So you come along the slipway, you have to tie lots of lines on, tie a line around your mast to stop you tipping over. We are currently at 0 on our depth gauge. So the 0 means it's flicking between 0 and 0.1, which means she's just about to touch the bottom. So Alan stood on the starboard side to get her to lean slightly to the starboard side, so that as she sits, she leans against the wall. We obviously don't want her to fall over. And then we're going to dry out on this tide. It's early morning when we come in, about 8 o'clock, and she won't float again until tonight at about probably 8:30. 8:45 time, and then we can leave. In the meantime, along the dockside here, there are some pressure washers. So you can see these sort of round coily thing. Well, that is a pressure washer. So we can pay €10 to use the pressure washer. We get half an hour. We're going to clean her underneath. She has a little bit of weed on her. So we're hoping that has been slowing us down a bit. So we're hoping that we'll get rid of that and she'll be doing her normal cruising speed. But I have to tell you, this is a nerve-wracking experience. and we've done it twice before. So the boat is still going down. She's just about touched now, we think. Just come to have a look, see how much the underbelly of the boat is exposed, see if she's anchored or not. I think she's still a little bit moving, so we just need to wait a little bit longer. But this place is quite special. It has this yellow sort of bund area. It runs down into the water and it'll go back behind our boat, so that when you clean all your weed off, it drops into this bund area, and then these sort of, I don't know, these yellow sort of things sticking up here, they squirt out loads of foam and stuff and wash the whole thing down before the water comes back in, and it gets trapped in a little system at the bottom of the bund and cleaned away so we don't pollute the water. Quite clever really, and they don't charge you for going on here, so that's why we're giving it a go. So the tide's gone out quite a bit now, and we're just beginning to see the keel emerging from the water on Seagull. She might look like she's at an alarming angle, but actually she's in line with the ramp angle, which we would expect, because she's sat solidly on her keel. So she should stay like that now until all the water goes, and then we can have the joy of trying to operate a pressure washer. So before the real work begins, we had a few hours to kill, and we can't start till past 2 o'clock. So the skipper and I are filling up with a rather delicious lunch in a bar that overlooks, you can just see our mast there in the background in the centre of the picture, so we can see when the water's gone out far enough that we can go and use the equipment. Perfect. Wow, this is all dried out. Alan's got the brush. Just have a closer look. She's got a bit of fouling, but she hasn't been done for a year. So this is our copper coat after a whole year, and sailing in some quite
not terrible
fouling areas. It's got like a carpet of weed like this on that needs to be brushed off.
You're into the copper and the... I think the pressure washer will really do a good job. But...
yeah, we just need to get the pressure washer on, don't we? I'm going to try and sort that out now. Well, this is a very noisy job, but she's got no weed on her now. One good pressure wash, and I went round with a bit of light sandpaper to just do any dodgy patches. She's looking fantastic now. Super pleased with that. When I rang Copper Coat, they said, yeah, just give her a really good jet wash, a light sand of any patches that don't look great, and you're a winner. She's nearly done. And there's the water line. We're just really going to have to wait for the tide to come back in to give you an idea of the wall. That's the marina office. But this whole facility, fantastic, awesome. We've been and cleaned up and had some showers, desperately needed. This is what Seagull looks like now. She's lovely and green, but with no weed, just a nice coppery green. Perfect. We sustained a little bit of damage from our keel wrap when we got the anchor chain wrapped around the keel. And that's what's happened, the lead bit's been bitten into. We'll have to sort that out when we come out properly on the hard. When you've finished doing the work on your boat, it triggers this cleaning system and it washes the whole thing down and makes sure that the whole of the slip is nice and clean, and it gets washed into a little trapping system so it doesn't go out to sea. Well, we're refloating and we're just about ready to go. You can see the water's all the way back up there. We're just going to slip our lines and head back to a visitor's berth. Success so far. So today is a gloriously hot day. We have spent the last hour and a half doing some chores, things like filling the water tanks and things like that. But where we are moored, over there you can see in the background a lovely strip of beach. So we're going to go and have a swim. We have arrived at the beach. Didn't take long, you can see the marina there in the distance. You can see people swimming over there, so we're going to head in that direction. Lovely and sandy. We're in. I'm not going to tell you how long it took.
Just ran straight down the beach and jumped in.
Yeah,
That's it, really.
dove under. It was marvellous. Seconds it took.
Or spent 25 minutes inching in millimetres, actually not inching, millimetres in, and then finally got our shoulders in.
And then did some pretend swimming.
No, did some proper swimming.
Proper swimming, okay. There we are. We're both in the sea.
Are we videoing?
Well,
I thought this was a still.
I hope you're doing a really big teasing grin.
Well, I was. Fixed. It's like one of those Victorian prints.
We're finally cooled down.
Hold the pose.
We are leaving Moulin Blanc marina in Brest. There it is behind us. We are heading out. We're going to head up a river. Not sure how you say this, but we think it's the River Loon. It looks a bit like Olm when you look at it on the map, but that's not how they say it. So we're heading out in that direction, then we're going to weave our long way up river and have a lovely sheltered anchorage for a little while. Well, we're still in the channel a bit, but the wind was sort of on the nose, so we took the opportunity to get the main up. It won't be long before we change course and we should be able to sail beautifully and turn this engine off. It's pretty busy out here though. There's a lot of water traffic of loads of different kinds. We've just come across some windsurfing foilers. I've now got this little sailboat crossing our bow, but we don't think we're on a collision course, so we're all right there. Lots of sailing yachts out here, lots of motorboats and ferries. It's very interesting. We're sort of going to head in that direction in a minute. We'll be able to show you what it looks like as we go up the river. It's a lovely warm day, it's like 23 degrees. But we've got a lovely breeze just starting to blow. We've got a force 4, a westerly force 4. So that is just brilliant. And this is what we're using for our navigation. We are having to jibe a little bit because the wind is coming from behind. So we're downwind sailing, but God, is it good today. Just look at this. So good. It's lovely, no engine. Just the swoosh of the waves. Beautiful views. And upriver we go. This is going to be a very peaceful spot.
It's hard to convey how much we enjoy this, but this is sailing when we're basically beam reaching. We're doing about 6.5 knots in 16 knots of wind. We were just a few minutes ago doing 7.5. Absolutely hacking along. It's lovely, peaceful. All you can hear is the water sloshing against the hull and a little bit of the sound of the wind in the sails. It's quite idyllic, really. We're in the Rad de Brest. It's a huge area for sailing, but it's really well protected from the Atlantic swell, so it keeps us really sort of quite flat and trim in the water. I mean, this is 16 knots of wind. If we were out at sea, we'd be going really well, but you get a fair bit of swell. So idyllic sailing conditions, and we're just really enjoying it.
And we're close hauling.
And we're close hauling. I thought we'd been reaching.
We're not even full force of the wind.
There you go.
It's too awesome. So Alan's now helming us in. I've just come off the helm. We're on a corner on this river, and it's just full of Navy ships all the way around the bend. Like that. We are heading past another Navy ship. Just up there, not far now, and then we're going to anchor. Coming round this bend, we're getting amazingly close to some of these ships. But this is where the deep water is. Totally decommissioned. Absolutely fascinating. A friend of ours, Kerry, would really love this. We're here, we're at anchor. Another boat behind us at anchor. All these other boats are on little mooring balls, so they must be permanent members here. But this is the river. And looking up the river, I think you can just see the last of the ships that we passed on the way down here. Looking up and over the top. And there's the other shore. Beautiful spot. Nothing here. Actually, there's nobody on board that boat behind us, so we're the only people here. Heaven. So seagulls out there on anchor. We've come ashore. Comes this ramp. And next to the ramp, as we got out, you can probably see my shadows there a bit. Loads and loads of scallop shells. Just everywhere. We're going to head for a walk. This way.
We're walking?
Yeah, we're just walking.
Okay. Okay.
It's rather nice, isn't it?
It's nice to be shaded. It's a hot day.
Some hikers in front, but not the only ones.
Striding purposefully.
Yeah. So we've come along the path. Here's this very typically French house. And then here we have a mill. And on the other side of the mill is the river that we're anchored on. Very clever. So we walked down that lovely track, we got here, we found this beautiful church, and Alan's going to introduce it for you in fantastic French.
Bonjour, je m'appelle Alan. Je suis né à Brighton. Ici, le chapelle de Folgat. And that's it.
We've had 2 really lovely nights on the River Olne, but this morning we've decided we're going to head our way back down the river, out through the Rod de Brest, hopefully the Goulet de Brest, and round to Camaret. We're going to anchor for the night there, we think. It's about time we bought some more supplies. It's been at least a week, and there is nothing up here, but it is utterly beautiful. So that's our plan for today.